Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, and so we're gonna start on the back today, and you have a rubber strap, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so have your rubber strap somewhere around the mat, and your 2 blocks, and of course a blanket for the practice. I always feel like blanket is a good idea. So, and then come to lay down on your back, and just bring. Let's start in a little hip opener with the blocks today. So bring the soles of your feet together and take your 2 blocks and kind of tilt them a little bit. So they're standing on one edge so that you have the flat surface of the long side of the block at the side of your thighs, so that it's not an edge that is like pushing into your thighs. Might be a little more comfortable. And you can choose how close, the closer the blocks, the less hip stretch you're going to feel, right? So take a moment to position the blocks in a way that it still feels pretty gentle. So nothing too crazy. Just a little bit of a stretch in your inner thighs area, but it's still comfortable for the lower back. And then you can allow the arms to rest by your side. Tuck the chin a little bit so your neck is long on the floor. And then you can allow your eyes to close. And just take a few deep inhales, inhaling through your nose. And then let a big sigh out the mouth. This is a way to arrive, to drop your body into the support of the floor, the blocks. Few more like that, inhaling through the nose, filling up the lungs, the chest. Exhale out the mouth, relax. One more like that, deep long inhale, filling up. And a long exhale to empty out. And drop, drop, drop a little bit more, letting your whole body relax. And then just continue to deepen your breath in and out through the nose. Right away, letting the belly, the rib cage, the chest move as you inhale. And then on an exhale, feeling how it all comes back towards your center. And again on an inhale, belly inflates, rib cage, forward, sides, backs, collarbones widen. And a long exhale, that contraction, gently pulling it all back towards the midline. Feel free, if you like, to layer on your Ujjayi breath, kind of slightly constricting the back of your throat like you're fogging a mirror with your breath and your mouth closed. We still want to let even the Ujjayi breath be soft, gentle, and the breath should still be able to flow freely and easily. Just take a few more, about 3 more rounds like that. Seeing if you can use that breath as a way to quiet and focus the mind, as a way to become a little more present with your body, with this moment right now, right here. And then take your hands outside your knees, your thighs, and just bring your legs, your knees together. Place the soles of your feet on the floor. And then just let your knees go side to side a little bit, just to neutralize the hips. Bring the knees to the left a little bit and to the right a little bit. Okay, and then grab your rubber strap. And I like, when I work, we do some leg stretches. I like to double the strap up to have a little more resistance. So if you want to try that, you can, or you can take it the single way. So whatever feels you think is a little more useful. So the legs are pretty heavy and strong, so sometimes it can be nice to have a little more resistance. And then bring the strap over your right foot. Left foot can be on the floor to start. And just grab the strap pretty high up with the arms, one each side with one hand. And just let your elbows bend and arms kind of hang into the bend. So you don't have to pull the elbows all the way to the floor. You can just let the arms relax into the support of the bed. And then from here, we'll take a few kicks up to the ceiling. So as you inhale, bend your knee, your right knee aloft, bring heel towards the butt, and then exhale, kick the leg up to the ceiling, pushing the heel up. And then again, inhale, bend your knee, exhale, kick the sole of your foot up to the ceiling. If you want, if it feels better for your arms, you can bring the elbows, upper arms all the way to the floor. I like to do that like I have a little anchor for the arms, the shoulders to stay down, and just my leg moves. As you're extending, really extending against the resistance of the band. And as you inhale, you're resisting that resistance a little bit. And exhale, push up. One more time. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. Good, and then bend your right knee again. This time bring the knee a little bit away from you, so it's over the hip in like a tabletop, shin parallel to the floor. We'll do the same thing, but we're gonna kick straight forward, parallel to the floor on the exhale. And then with the inhale, bring the knee back over the hip, bend the knee. Exhale, kick the leg straight forward, and then bend. And continue on your own. And as you're straightening the leg, be really mindful to not plop into that knee. So you don't want to overextend the knee. It's very slowly with control, extending to a point where it's still comfortable in your knee joint. And then bend it back in. And it's pushing, like you're pushing something heavy away from you with that right leg. Try to keep your arms glued to the floor and in place. Also get a little shoulder grip, hand grip warm up here. And keep the leg straight forward and lift it up to the ceiling straight. And then do some little pulses with that right leg. A little bit away and closer to you. Like you're doing a little dynamic hamstring stretch. And notice if you're hiking up the right hip to the right armpit as you're stretching that right leg towards you. So try to keep reaching the right sitting bone away from you, away from your right shoulder as your leg comes closer. That's it, beautiful. And you just go to a point where you feel your hamstring, but it's not painful. Might be a little discomfort, that's okay. And then if you want, you could extend your left leg long here. If that doesn't feel good, keep it bent. And then from here, we'll go side to side. So reach the right leg out to the right to a point where you feel your left hip is almost rolling off the floor, but it's still on the floor. And then go back up to the ceiling and cross the leg over to the left. Keep your right hip down. So you might not go very far. And then open it out again to the right. Keep the left hip heavy. And then over again, cross it over. A few more times, side to side. Just getting into a point where you feel a stretch in the inner thigh. And then cross it over, feel that stretch in the outer thigh and hip area. I sometimes like to do these stretches more dynamically than just holding them. I feel like I get the same effect, maybe even get a little deeper than when I just hold it still, right? So just see how that feels for you. And then come back up to the ceiling with the leg. Last thing you do, we'll warm up the ankle. So we're just gonna move the foot now. So the sole of the foot starts up to the ceiling, flexing the foot. And then you're pulling the big toe side of the foot towards you and slice the pinky side, outer edge, up towards the ceiling. You can use your hands like two reins, pulling the left hand down, right arm releases a little bit, and then switch. Pull the pinky toe side down and just slice the big toe side up. And then go side to side a few times. And I'm using my arms, like to pull one side down a little bit and then the other side. Yeah, so you got a little twist in the ankle, side to side. It's like you're showing the sole of your foot to the left and then to the right. One side goes a little, probably bigger range of motion, turning the sole to the left, and when you turn the sole to the right, you probably don't go so far. That's totally normal. Good. And then keep the foot up. Just release your strap. Keep the leg up long. And then very slowly lower the leg and lengthen it on the floor. Nice and slow. Enjoy that moment of truth. And the legs are down. Hopefully you feel a difference between your right and left leg and hip. Maybe the leg feels longer, a little more soft, a little more awake. And then we're gonna even it out. So place your right foot on the floor, bring the strap over your left foot. Yep. And then first, just the leg up to the ceiling. Find a place for your arms, right? And you can walk your hands further down the strap or up, whatever works for you. Want to have some tension on the strap, even when your leg is bent. Have a little bit of tension on the strap. And then inhale, bend your left knee, and then exhale, kick the heel up to the ceiling. Inhale, bend heel towards the butt. That's it. Exhale up. Good. Notice if your upper back is arching on the floor, so keep the shoulder blades nice and broad on the floor. Good. That's it. You might feel that one side is a very different world, the left and the right. So just kind of noticing that, receiving the feedback of your body, and then working with that feedback, adjusting if you need to. Good, and then keep the knee, bring it bent and into a tabletop position. So knee over the hip, shin parallel to the floor. Now kick straight forward. And then on an inhale, bend it back in. Exhale, kick the leg parallel to the floor. Yeah, inhale, bend it in. Trying to keep your arms very stationary, very still and stable. Also checking your lower back, keep that dropping towards the floor, right? So we don't want to arch the spine here when the leg extends. So a little bit of engagement in the core here. Good, 2 more like that. Use that exhale to straighten, inhale to bend. Exhale, straighten. Keep the leg straight and reach it up to the ceiling. And now, left sit bone reaches away from you still, even though you bring the leg a little closer and pulse a few times, forward and back. And you can even have your knee slightly bent if that feels better for your knee and your leg. Good, make sure you're still breathing here. Oy, oy, oy. Good, if you did a lot of walking on the weekend, you might feel a lot here. All right, and then maybe you extend your right leg long or keep it bent. And then open up the left leg to the left. Keep that right leg, right hip on the floor. Yeah, and then come back to center, cross it over to the right, keeping that left hip reaching away from you and to the floor. And then go side to side a few times, opening and crossing. You're externally rotating the hip open and then internally rotating it. Adduction, right? Bringing the leg across. Good. One more time, open, and one more time, cross. And then bring the leg straight up, and then keep your hands pretty active here. So you're pulling the big toe side of the foot towards you, slicing that pinky side up towards the ceiling into the strap. And then switch, showing the sole of your foot to the left, pinky side towards you, and then switch side to side. Just a little twisting in the foot, ankle. You might feel the stretch in the inner shin and then the outer ankle, outer shin as you twist. Good, and then come back to center, release the strap. You can put it to the side and then slowly lower that left leg to meet the right. Hopefully both are the same length now. Give it a little shake. Open and close your hands a few times. Release the grip. You might even feel it in your fingers. Good. And then one more time, grab your strap and bring both feet up to the ceiling and strap the strap over both feet. I'm just gonna turn around. And then stretch the legs up towards the ceiling. You can still have them a little bit bent. So have them a little bent. And then pull them down. Have your heels straight over the hips. Imagine you could pull your femur bone, your thigh bone, directly into your hip socket, a little straight down into the floor. Good. And then from here, reach really high up on the band with your hands, very high up. Take a deep inhale. And then with your exhale, bend your elbows and pull yourself off the floor. So you're curling your head, neck, and shoulders off the floor. And then on an inhale, slowly lower down. Exhale, pull up again. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders off the floor. And inhale, release. And continue a few more times like that. You're like building a little pull-up bar here with your legs, and you're pulling yourself up towards your feet. Right? It's a nice way to work those pulling muscles a little bit more in the arms, in the shoulders, and also your core. That's a little workout here. Good. Next time you're up, stay up in your curl. Drive the front ribs a little to the back ribs belly and bend your knees, and then start to kick your legs forward and see if you can lift up into a boat pose with your band. Yeah, nice. And then you can extend your legs if you like, or keep them bent. Stay nice and long in the spine, open in the chest. And then rebend your knees. And here's the trick. Very slowly with control, lower back down. Right? Pull your navel, your ribs back, round your spine, and try to slowly lower. The band is kind of helping you here. Yeah, that's it. Beautiful. Stretch your legs back up. Curl up on an exhale, and then again, come back up. Push the feet forward. Let that lift you up into a supported boat pose. Draw belly in, ribs in, shoulders down your back. Yeah, nice and long in the spine. Maybe you extend your legs, maybe you keep them bent. And then bend both knees in slow motion, curling, rolling down. Draw the navel back. Last time, legs up to the ceiling. Curl up. Bend your knees and then push the feet forward. Draw belly and ribs back. Let that lift you up. Find a nice long spine, elongating the spine. Maybe your legs extend long. I keep the chest open. Beautiful. That's it. And then slowly lower the feet, legs to the floor, and pull yourself forward for a little hamstring stretch over the legs. Well done. You made it up to sit. You can put the strap aside. Line your blocks to the top of your mat if they're not there already. And come up onto hands and knees. So you can take your blanket if you like, a blanket for the knees. Place them under your knees. Okay, good. And placing, stacking shoulders over wrists, knees over the hips, hips over the knees, actually. Spread your fingers wide. And we'll take a few cat-cows here. So on your inhale, let the tailbone go up to the ceiling. Open up the front body, climbing all the way up to the heart. Look forward. And on an exhale, tucking the tail round. Pull the navel, the ribs up to the ceiling, and let your head drop. And then on inhale, starting with the tail, tilting up. Let it ripple through the spine as you arch. And then exhale again, initiating with your tailbone, rounding the whole spine. Your head is last to arrive. And then continue a few more rounds on your own. This is letting the front body open. And on an exhale, opening up the back body. Good. Trying to move gradually sequentially through the spine, right? Articulating vertebra by vertebra all the way through every part of your spine. Good. And then find a somehow neutral place between those two. Take an inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky, look up. Let your right hip lift up and your left hip drop a little bit. And then as you exhale, thread your right arm under the left, bring the shoulder, the ear to the floor. And then you can keep your left hand where it is, or if it feels good, to reach the left arm overhead, like a down dog arm. You could do that, right? Stretching the left arm overhead might feel nice. And when you do that, stretch the arm, push the palm actively into the floor, like you're pushing the floor forward, and draw the left hip back away from the left armpit. So you get a nice side stretch on the left. Take another deep breath in, deep breath out. And then place your left hand back under the left shoulder, press down into the floor, unravel the right arm up. Exhale, right hand to the floor, and we'll switch sides. Inhale, left arm goes up. Let the left hip lift a little bit, right hip can drop. And then exhale, threading the needle, threading the left arm under the right. Bring the left ear, left shoulder to the floor. And then optional, if you want to try, reach, stretch that right arm overhead. Press the palm actively into the floor and draw the right hip bone away from the right fingertips. Get really long on your right side. That's it, beautiful. Good, make sure you're breathing here. And then bring the right hand under the right shoulder, press down, unravel the left arm up to the side, and exhale, release the hand under the shoulders. Good, well done. Inhale, tuck your toes and arch your spine again. And then with your exhale, lift the hips up and back. Find a downward facing dog. And then take a moment here. You want to move a little bit. Maybe bending and straightening one leg at a time. Or shift the hips a little bit from one side to the other. Find that length in your spine, right? From your fingertips all the way up through the tailbone, tilting your sitting bones up towards the ceiling. Let your head relax, your neck relax. And then find your downward dog. Lift your heels off the floor and then start to round your spine. Draw belly, ribs, front ribs to back ribs as you wave your spine forward into plank pose. And then bend your knees, stick your butt up again and sit back towards your heels and then straighten your legs into downward dog. Do this 2 more times, like you're lifting the heels, round your whole back, like you're sucking the belly, ribs back, chest, the upper back's puffing up, and then in your plank pose, straighten, bend your knees, tuck the tail up to the ceiling as you sit back and then straighten your legs up. That's it, beautiful. One more time, waving forward, nice and round. And then straighten out the spine as you arrive. Bend your knees, find a little arch to tilt your sitting bones up, sit back, and straighten the legs. One more time, this time staying in a plank pose. And then slow motion, lower to the belly. You can lower with your knees or no knees, elbows straight back into chaturanga arms. And then untuck the toes. Inhale, stretch the heart forward, draw the toes back. And exhale, release. And then push back into an active child's pose. So keep your arms stretching forward, sit the hips back, release your forehead to the mat. Good, and then on your inhale, draw yourself back up, hands and knees, tuck your toes, exhale, downward facing dog. Take an inhale, let that right leg fly up and back, and then open up the hip for a moment, bend your top leg, lift up the right knee as you settle and root down the left heel. And then re-lengthen the right leg, square the hip, and exhale, step through between your hands. Let the back knee sink down, and then inhale, lift up into a low lunge. Cactus the arms, bend your elbows, lift your rib cage away from the hips. And then we'll from here, pull your right hips back, straighten the front leg, flex your foot, and lean forward. It's a more active half split. Reach your arms back behind you as you hinge forward. Right, heart goes forward, hips pull back. Good, and then rebend your front knee, plant the foot, come up into your low lunge, and then tuck your back toes and lift the back knee for high lunge. Lift up, 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 lift the rib cage away from the top rim of your pelvis, and then exhale, hands to the floor, straighten your front leg. Fold over. And then rebend your front knee, plant your palms, step back into your downward dog. Take a long inhale to come into plank, and then exhale, lower to your belly, elbows hugging in by your ribs. Untuck the toes, reach your arms down by your side, interlace your fingers behind your back, and then draw the knuckles back, lift the chest. And then think about lengthening back through the toes, forward to the heart, and lift the knuckles a little bit more up towards the ceiling. Keep the legs on the floor though. Yeah, for the first ones. Good, so see if you can lift the knuckles a little higher, open up the chest. And exhale, release the hands by your ribs, tuck the toes, push back into a quick child pose, sit the hips back. Inhale, draw forward, hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Long inhale, your left leg glides up, open up the hip, bend your left knee. Take a moment to let that hip open. Left knee light, right heel heavy. And then inhale, re-lengthen the left leg up, square the hip to face the floor, and then step through between your hands. Lower the back knee down, and inhale, come up, low lunge. Cactus the arms, and then from here, you want to pull, straighten out the front leg, flex the front foot, and hinge forward from your hip. Reach the heart forward, chest forward, and then reach your arms back and bow. But we're staying up without more of the hands, it's much more active, right? And then rebend your front knee, plant the foot, bring your arms back up, tuck the back toes, and lift your back knee or in your high lunge. And with the next exhale, hands to the floor, straighten out the front leg, fold forward. Long inhale to rebend your front knee, planting the palm, step back into downward facing dog. Taking a long inhale, gliding into plank. Exhale, lower to your belly, all the way to the floor. Untuck the toes, arms by your side, interlace the fingers. Draw the knuckles to your feet, let your chest lift. And then this time, lengthening even more to the legs and lift your legs off the floor. Lift your knuckles away from the butt up towards the ceiling. Good, that's it. Still comfortable in the shoulders though. See if you can shine your heart forward and back to the toes. One more inhale. Exhale, hands beside your ribs, lower the feet. Push back into just a quick child's pose, active child's pose, reaching your arms through. Inhale, draw yourself back on hands and knees, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, let your right leg float up and back. Keep the hip facing the floor. And then exhale, step through between your hands. Lower the back knee down. Inhale, find your low lunge, arms up, lifting the rib cage up away from the pelvis. Cactus the arms again, straighten the front leg. Flex the foot, hinge forward. Reach back with the arms and fold. And it's also a balancing act here, so try to find a gaze on the floor. And then rebend your front knee, tuck your back toes, lift the back knee, high lunge. Now we'll stay for a little bit here in the low lunge, in the high lunge, sorry. First, feel your feet. Root down through your feet, root down through both big toes. And then from here, soften your front knee a little bit. And then think about drawing your pubic bone up towards the lower ribs. So get a little engagement in the low belly, tuck the tail a little bit, drop your tail down to the floor. And then see if you can keep that pubic bone up to the ribs as you extend your back leg again, any amount, as good as you can. Good, without kind of arching into that low back. That's it, beautiful. Lift up and away of your hips. Exhale, hands to the floor, straighten your front leg. And then plant your palms, rebend the knee, and step back into a downward dog. Take an inhale to arrive in your plank. Exhale, lower to your belly all the way. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Draw the knuckles back to your feet. Lift the chest and lift your legs in your Shalabhasana pose. Good. Elongating through the whole spine. So from the crown of your head forward, toes back. Lift the knuckles way up towards the ceiling. Puffing up the chest. And then exhale, release the feet, hands by your side ribs. This time, lower the feet, root them into the floor, and then straighten your arms. See if you can come into either high cobra, maybe even an up dog. Lifting the thighs. And then exhale, push back into your downward facing dog. Good. On your inhale, let your left leg float up and back. Exhale, step the foot through between your hands. Back knee lowers to the floor. Inhale to your low lunge to start. Exhale, cactus the arms. Straighten out the front leg, flex the foot, and pull the hips back as you hinge forward. And then reach the arms back behind you and bow over that front leg. And then rebend your front knee, plant the foot, come forward, reach the arms up, tuck the back toes, push down to the feet, come up to high lunge. Rooting down through the big toes, feel that connection of your feet into the floor and lift out of your pelvis with your ribs. And then soften your back knee a little bit. Pubic bone draws towards the navel or towards the low ribs. Tailbone drops straight to the floor. And then maintain that as good as you can as you re-straighten your back leg. Yeah, you might not go all the way straight. You'll feel probably quite a stretch in the front right hip or quad. And then exhale, release the hands to the floor. Straighten out the front leg. Take an inhale, plant your palms, step back with the left into your downward dog. Again, on an inhale, gliding into your plank. And then exhale, lower to the belly. We'll start with what we know. Interlace the fingers, draw the knuckles back, puff up the heart, lift the chest, and then lift your legs off the floor for Shalabhasana. And then keep your legs up, just flex your feet and tuck your toes down on the floor. So my toes are tucked and legs are super straight. Release my hands by your ribs. And then from here, you're gonna push into the floor with your arms, straighten the arms, come up into an up dog. Thighs are beautiful. And with your exhale, hips up and back, down the dog. Good. Inhale, right leg floats up and back. Exhale, step the right leg through, right foot through between your hands. Back knee sinks to the floor. Inhale, it's your low lunge. Exhale, cactus the arms, pull the hip back, straighten the front leg, lean forward. Reach the arms back behind you as you bow over the leg. And then rebend your front knee, plant the front foot down, tuck the back toes. Lift up into your high lunge. Soften the back knee, draw the pubic bone up to the navel. Drop the tail and then maybe re-lengthen that back leg. And then from here, bend your back knee so much again and slowly lower it all the way to the floor. Good, and then from here, bring your left hand inside the front foot on the floor. Take your right arm up for low lunge twist. And then you can let that right knee and right toes open a little bit to the side. Make sure your knee goes still over the toes, the direction of your toes. And then lift your back foot off the floor, bend your back knee, circle the right arm back and see if you can grab the top of your back foot and draw it in towards your left sitting bone. Yeah. Taking a little quad stretch here. Good, and then think about magnetizing the front foot and the back knee, right? Like you're pulling them a little together without moving them. Yeah. Ooh, and make sure you breathe. Ooh. Good, take another deep inhale and another deep exhale. And then slowly release that foot down. Release the hands to the floor. And then from here, bring the hands to frame the front foot, lift the back knee, and step to the top of your mat. Take a forward fold. Hang over your legs for a moment. Let yourself hang, let the upper body relax. And then slowly start to roll up vertebra by vertebra. All the way up to your Tadasana mountain pose. Good, and then take your two blocks on the highest height. Just put them in front of you or in front of your mat even on the floor. And then we're going to start first with your arms up overhead as you're inhaling, sweeping up. And then feel your left foot rooting onto the floor and shift your weight over that left leg. And then from here, you're going to lift your right knee up into your chest to start. And then slowly kicking that right leg back into a warrior three pose. You're tilting your upper body forward, right leg back. And then open the arms into an airplane shape. Right arm out, left arm out. The blocks are right there if you need some support. And then you're tilting the whole shape towards the right. Left hand finds the block on the floor. Open up the back hip into your Ardha Chandrasana half move. Kicking that right leg back in the air. Yeah, stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders. Beautiful. Don't let that back leg die. So keep it really engaged. Yeah, energy reaching through that right leg. And then look down, soften the front knee. Let that right leg pull you back into warrior two. That was not very elegant transition. I hope you did better. Good. And then reverse the warrior. Take an inhale. And with your exhale, find your lateral angle. Hand can come inside the front foot, floor block, or on your front thigh. Good, and then let yourself turn all the way inside your front foot. Plant the palms under your shoulders. Step your left foot back, downward facing dog. Take a long inhale for plank. Exhale, lower to your belly. Interlace the fingers behind your back to start. Draw the knuckles back. Lift the chest. Lift your legs off the floor. Flex your feet. And then bring the toes and tuck them on the floor. Stretch the legs really long. And then lower your hands beside your ribs. Push down into your hands. Keep the belly drawing in. You lift your chest, your thighs, your hips, your thighs off the floor for your up dog. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take a moment to arrive. Breathe. Maybe taking some breath into the nose, out to the mouth. And then with your next inhale, let your left leg float up to the sky. And exhale, bring the knee to the nose, step through between your hands. Lower back knee or in your low lunge as you inhale. Exhale, cactus the arms, straighten the front leg. Flex your foot. And then tilt from your hips forward. Bring your arms back down by your side, reaching back as you bow over that front leg. And then rebend your front knee. Reach your arms back up, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. High lunge. Good, and then re-soften the back knee, drop the tail, lift the navel, reach the navel, pubic bone towards one another. And then see if you can re-straighten the back leg a little bit. Keeping all of that integration in your core. And then rebend your back knee a lot and lower it back to the floor. Good, and then you can bring your right hand under the right shoulder or maybe even a little outside of the mat. And then turn the left toes and knee out slightly to the left. Let your hips sink. And then bring your right foot off the floor. Bend your right knee and grab for that back foot with your left arm. And if you cannot grab it, you could use your strap. But if you have it, try to let the left shoulder just open towards the left side. And you can even lean into that right arm a little bit. Draw the left foot towards the left sitting bone. And breathe. Again, magnetize your front foot, your left foot, and the right knee a little bit towards one another. And without moving them. A nice big stretch for that right calf, front hip, hip flexor. And then slowly release the foot to the back to the floor. Bring the left foot straight forward again. Hands framing the front foot, lift the back knee, and then take a big step to the top of your mat, coming into a forward fold. Hanging there for a moment. Let your arms, your neck, your head go. And then start to slowly roll up through the spine. Push your feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra, all the way up to stand. Yeah, make sure your blocks are still in front of your mat, somewhere there. Align your feet under your hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. And then with your exhale, shifting your weight into your right foot, lift your left knee up in front of you. And then slowly start to kick the leg back as you tilt forward into warrior three. And then open out the arms into a T shape or airplane shape. And then tilt that shape to the left. So the right hand comes on the block or the floor. Open up the hip, stack the left hip on top of the right. Open up the left arm to the ceiling. And find your half moon Ardha Chandrasana. Right? The gaze can be straightforward, up or down. Really think about kicking that left leg actively out into space. It's gonna help you to keep that leg light, right? Rather than letting it die. Good, and then look down to the floor, soften your front knee, and let the left foot pull you back into your warrior two. Nice, beautiful transition, that's it. Then on an inhale, tilt it back for your peaceful warrior. And with your exhale, come forward, finding lateral angle. You can use your block or bring the hand to the floor, top arm all the way up overhead. Let your ribs, your chest twist to the ceiling. And then let that top arm circle all the way to the floor. Lift the back heel. Plant your palms. Step back into your downward facing dog. Last vinyasa. As you inhale, roll forward. Exhale, lower to your belly. Interlacing the fingers behind you. Draw the knuckles up and back. Lift the chest. Lift your legs. Flex the feet, tuck the toes on the floor. Legs are super straight. Reach energy through the heels. And then lower the hands by your side ribs. Tuck your elbows in. And then push the floor down. Straighten the arms. Lift the hips. Lift the thighs. Gorgeous. And exhale, downward facing dog. Really nice. And then from here, look forward, step or walk your feet outside your hands for a moment. Open the feet a little wider, turn the toes out slightly, heels in, and take a squat, little malasana squat. You're not gonna stay here very long. So do what you need to do. If you want a little block for a moment to sit down, take it. Let your knees be the elbows inside the knees, hands together. Just use hands and knees connection to find a little bit of hugging in and pushing out at the same time. You may want to let your eyes close for a moment. Good, and then if you're sitting on something, remove that block and make your way to sit all the way on your mat. And come to sit. Nice, that's it, Dani, beautiful, good. And then from here, we're gonna go down onto your back for a little bit of a first bridging and then optional to practice wheel pose. We did a lot of opening for the quads, the front of the hips. So they should be pretty well prepared for that. Totally optional, right? You can stick with bridge pose as well if you want to. All right, but first just rounding down to the floor. Have your feet in line with your hips and first just roll down vertebra by vertebra, tucking your tail, draw the ribs and belly back, slowly make your way down onto your back. Good. And then as you arrive, let your arms rest by your side. Your feet about hip width apart. And then walk your feet a little closer to you and reach your arms down towards your feet. So to a point where you can touch your heels, the backs of your heels with your fingertips. And then keep your arms there and just walk your feet a little bit back further away. So you're not touching the heels, you're almost touching your heels. Good, and then robot the arms. Like you make some robot arms, like bending the elbows, pushing the upper arms and elbows down into the floor, fingertips pointing up to the ceiling and the palms inwards towards one another. Good, and then from here, you're gonna push down through the upper arms, squeeze your shoulder blades a little bit and puff up your chest, right, up towards the ceiling. Really rooting down to the elbows, rooting down to the feet. And then push down even more through feet and elbows and lift your hips a little bit off the floor. Hug your waist in. So suck it in the waist to really support that lift. Just a little lift in the pelvis. And then from here, you're gonna push down even more through the feet and the elbows, lift the hips higher, right? And then lower your arms and scooch the shoulders even closer, tuck your shoulder blades underneath, interlace the fingers, take a moment in your bridge pose. Right, pushing everything that is touching the floor down into the floor. Puff up the chest, tuck the chin a little bit towards your chest. Your neck is nice and long. And then magnetizing your heels, your knees a little bit together, hugging in towards the midline. Beautiful. Take another deep inhale, another deep exhale. And then slowly release your fingers, release the arms, widen the shoulder blades on your upper back, and then softly lower vertebra by vertebra down to the floor. And then just stay still for a moment, arms by your side, rest on the floor, and just notice for a moment the after effects of this heart opening, back bending pose. And then we'll go back into it one more time. So optional to stay and do the same thing with the bridge, or we can add on into a wheel pose. I'm gonna talk you through it. So arms by your side, almost touching your heels with the fingers. Roll out the arms, fingers up to the ceiling, and then really scooch the shoulder blades a little closer so you can press the upper arms, elbows down, and puff up the upper back away from the floor. Puff up the chest up to the ceiling. And then press down to the feet, to the elbows, and lift your hips up towards the ceiling, all the way up. Good. Optional to either interlace the fingers on the floor, go into bridge pose, or if you want to try wheel, place your hands by your ears, fingers pointing towards your feet. And then hug your upper arms, your elbows in, and then press down to the hands and just roll up on the top of your head first. And then pressing down to the hands and the feet, straightening the arms, lift the hips up higher into your wheel pose. Right, and then thinking about lengthening. You can even walk your feet a little further forward. If you like, lengthening, find length from your heart all the way to the toes. Squeezing your back body, like what you did on the floor in Shalabhasana pose, right? Your back body is working a lot. And take a few breaths, let your head relax. Keep hugging your waist in so you feel supported around your core. And then to come out, slowly start to bend your elbows, tuck your chin, bring the back of your head down, and then slowly lower vertebra by vertebra down to the floor. Let your arms relax by your side and just rest and be still for a moment on the floor. Really feeling all the effects in your body. Any sensations coming up, just feeling into that. And then from here, bring your arms out into cactus shape to the side. Bring your knees up into your chest, bring your knees together. Let them drop a little more to the chest, and then scooch your hips to the left a little bit and let your knees drop to the right. And then see if you can look over that left shoulder. If you want to, you can extend your left leg long or keep it bent. You may even use your right hand on the top left knee if you want to add a little bit of weight into the legs. And then see if you can take a few breaths into your left side. Make this feel really passive, right? Really relaxing. Knees are bent. Both knees are bent into, And then release the arms back down into your cactus shape. Use your core to bring the knees back to center. Scooch the hips to the right a little bit, and then both knees drop to the left. Keep them bent. Maybe you want to extend your right arm out to the right or keep it bent. And take your left hand on the right knee if you like to add some weight onto the legs. Make sure you keep your breath flowing. If you want to close your eyes at this point, feel free. And then bringing both knees back to center. And then bring your knees together, feet together, inner thighs together. And just bring your arms over your knees and clasp your fingers. So interlace or clasp the hands, opposite hands. And then pull your legs down in towards you. So really squeeze your knees into your chest. And drop your sacrum. Push your sacrum down into the floor. Keep the tailbone sacrum on the floor. And then keep the shoulder blades dropping to the floor and the back of your head rooting down. And then notice that as you're pressing the sacrum down, you might feel your lumbar curve in your lower back, right? Without arching it, just feeling the natural curve arise as you press your sacrum down into the floor. And as you press your shoulder blades wide into the floor, the back of your head, you might feel the little curve behind your cervical spine, your neck. These two natural curves in the spine. So you're squeezing your legs down. Think about lengthening from your tailbone up to the top of your head. Good, and then we're gonna round the spine. So now you can lift your forehead up towards your knees. Wrap your arms around your shins, curling into the tiniest ball and squeeze. Really squeezing, compressing yourself into yourself. And then put your breath in there. You take some deep inhales and deep exhales. Take an inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Compress, compress, and squeeze. And then slowly soften and let your body relax on the floor for Shavasana. Let your legs take up space long on the floor if you like, or you can keep them bent if that feels better. Let the feet flop out to the side, however they want to flop out. Relax your arms. Take up as much space as your body needs right now. Like really spreading yourself on the floor. Let your eyes close. And then just drop. Let everything drop. Drop, 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 and sink a little bit deeper into the floor. Just keep dropping, keep sinking, keep relaxing and releasing. And feeling any after effects of your practice. Maybe physically, maybe emotionally, mentally. And don't do anything with that feedback. Just observe, watch, notice. And start to begin to deepen the breath again. Taking a deep, long inhale, sending your breath all the way out into the corners of your body, the feet, the toes, the fingers, and exhale, empty out. And again, drawing in a deep inhale, exhale out. And continue with that breath and start to bring some movement into fingertips and toes. Start to bring some life back into your hands and your feet. Maybe some circles through your ankles, the wrists. And then taking the arms up overhead, take a full body stretch, get nice and long. And then whenever you're ready, roll over to one side and pause in your fetal pose just for a moment. Curling into that little ball one more time. And then use the floor, use the arms to come up to sit. Try to keep your eyes closed so you're staying with yourself for another moment. Finding a tall, long spine one more time. And then you can bring your hands, one hand on top of your heart, and then the other hand on top of it. It's becoming really still one more time until you can feel your own heart beating in your chest. And just taking this moment here to think about what you want to take with you from your practice. How you can take your yoga with you into the rest of your day, maybe into the rest of this week. Something you want to cultivate in your life, or something that helps you to stay in touch with yourself. And then we'll take one more deep inhale through the nose, filling up. And a long sigh out the mouth, exhale out. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I hope I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.